Good evening. I'm Dean Cox. I'm here with Devin Colliander, and today we'll be continuing talking about the transfer portal and NIL policies. So, Devin, how do you feel about college athletes' excessive use of the transfer portal?
I think excessive use is a problem. Uh, you can go and transfer as many times as you like, anywhere you like, and it causes a lot of disruption in the league, not knowing where you're going and what's going on with the team.
Do you think it's fair that these athletes are being able to use these opportunities and not have a kind of like, I guess, discipline for it? Like transferring and not having to sit a year or sit a few games when you can just transfer in the middle of the season or in the middle of the school year?
I think transferring in the middle of the season, you shouldn't be able to join a team and start playing on that team. I think if you're transferring in the off season and you can go through another team's workout routine and get to know the team, then you should be able to play with the team. I don't think you should be forced to sit games if you're not transferring in the middle of the year. But in the middle of the year, I don't think you should be able to play for a new team.
Do you think there should be certain like dates where you are allowed to transfer and not have a, I guess, disciplinary action? Like
Yeah.
City games.
I think that would be good. I think they could have a specific date after the national championship before next year's workouts start, next year's pre-season practices start, where you be able to transfer and then have plenty of time to get accommodated to your new team and have the team be accommodated to having you on it.
I like that. I like that a lot. Do you think the transfer portal is, I guess, ruining the dynamic of high school recruiting?
It's definitely hurting it. Whereas teams aren't looking strictly for high school recruits anymore, they're able to look at other programs to try and better theirs. It definitely hurts a lot of high school recruits because they just won't get as many looks maybe, or they won't be looked into as deeply. So yeah, it definitely is hurting high school recruiting.
Well, that's all I got for the transfer portal. Now for the NIL, do you think that it's fair that these college kids are being paid the same amount as some professional athletes and people with professional jobs?
I think there's definitely an overuse of NIL. I think to an extent it's a good thing because these kids who normally could have jobs or other things while they're in college but can't because of their sport. Sports are very strenuous. You got to go through a lot of workouts, a lot of practice. So they're able to supplement some other things they could be doing and still get some money, be able to continue going through college and learning and paying for it while playing their sport still.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these athletes are getting full ride scholarships, and while that is covering their college, I guess they're not having access to money as other college students between like jobs and stuff. So I guess that is a way to, I guess, build up their bank account. And these kids are working hard for their skills to, I guess, earn these sponsorships. But I guess like everything, there should be restrictions and limitations because the amount of money these kids are earning and these deals that kids are getting, they're, I guess, using it poorly by either blowing all the money or just not knowing what they're getting into. So I guess there should be restrictions and limitations to what they're getting into. Do you think the NIL has made college sports better or worse in this day and age?
I think the sports in general have stayed the same, but I believe it's drawn a lot of attention to bigger athletes and kind of taken away some of the attention that the smaller athletes get. It kind of forces, if you're not a good athlete, to put you in like, not necessarily a bad light, but less of a good light. You're not getting all these big things. You're not able to buy some of the things these kids are buying, like nice cars and nice watches, and drawing all the attention towards them.
And going back to that, do you think this also affects schools and their ability to recruit athletes with the amount of NIL money and usage that they have?
I think it definitely affects it. Some of these bigger schools can recruit a lot of people and have, again, a lot of transfers coming in just because they're able to pay them. They have big sponsors already, like Oregon has a Nike sponsor, so Nike can pay a lot of these kids. And a lot of the smaller schools, like I'm going to Charlotte, won't be able to pay any of these kids because they just don't have the money for the program.
Yeah, that could definitely affect these smaller schools who aren't getting the same attention as these bigger schools, and just, I guess, it won't go downhill, but still, there's definitely a skill difference, and it can be not fair to these other teams. But, I mean, if you have the power, you might as well use it. Not kind of a crossover between these two things. Do you think that the NIL is influencing the amount of transfers that have happened throughout the past couple years?
I think for sure it has. I think if you're thinking about transferring or moving, then you want to go to a school to play better, but another school is going to offer you hundreds of thousands of dollars to go play there. You're going to go play there. And it even could ruin your career if you end up not choosing the right school to go to because you're choosing based off money and not choosing based off what's better for your future in the sport.
Yeah, that's another reason why I think there should be limitations to being able to transfer, because transferring to a different school for education and opportunities is different, or I guess athletic opportunities is different than transferring to a school for just straight up money and getting paid to go to these schools. So I guess it's not really fair, and there needs to be, I guess, a rule to determine why you're transferring and if it's necessary or not. Do you think these players are becoming less loyal to these programs? Like, these kids are committing and then they end up flipping their commitments because of money, and we've seen players transfer from school to school, or these high school recruits committing, decommitting, and recommitting and all this. So do you think this is ruining the loyalty of players' connections and relationships to these programs?
I definitely think so. I think before NIL and before transfers, when you committed to a school, you had a lot of excitement to go to that school. You knew you were going to be there for 4 years and you're going to have a lot of passion to play for them and do the best you could. But now you're more playing for yourself, playing to potentially look for a better school to go play at, and less focusing on the team aspect of the game.
I know you're a big NFL and professional sports fan. So do you think that this dynamic of college athletics is kind of merging to be like professional sports? And do you think there should be a change where college athletics stays as college athletics and these kids need to work out to be professional athletes instead of just getting paid and, I guess, making a living off of being a college athlete?
I think to an extent it's a good thing because it kind of helps you get prepared for how it is, and things like the NFL for teams changing and stuff like that. You aren't playing the same team for 4 years, but there also does need to be a distinction between college and NFL, so it doesn't become where college you're making even potentially more money than NFL, and then there's less of a drive to go towards that higher goal.
Yeah.
Maybe you try and get more eligibility just so that you could stay in college because you're making enough money to where you don't have to try and pursue further.
Yeah. So do you think that these policies will be fixed and help the future of college sports, or do you think they will continue to get out of hand and kind of break down and change college athletics as a whole?
I think in the near future it probably will stay the same just because it's so new, but hopefully they'll see it getting out of hand and realize that something needs to be done and that they need to fix it, regulate it.
Yeah. Do you have anything for me?
Well, you're a Clemson fan. How do you feel that your team's being affected by the NIL and transfers?
As a Clemson fan, I don't think it's affecting the program as much as other programs like SEC schools and North Carolina, with Bill Belichick. I think Dabo Swinney, he's taken the approach where he wants to build his program from just straight up high school recruits to build a family and just teach these kids how to work as a team, and not getting these players that will just stars that will change the team and just not really care about the team. They're just caring about their draft stock or them making money. So I think Dabo is taking a different approach to this, but there are situations where this year he's kind of ventured into the transfer portal and he's gotten a couple key players to help, I guess, balance out the team, but still But compared to other teams, Dabo Swinney is, I guess, building up his program from just who he has. And I mean, people were hating on him for it, and he made it to the college football playoffs and brought a fight to Texas at Texas. So I think whatever works for you as a coach and as a program. But I don't think it's affecting Clemson as much because these players are there for the program and they know what it's about and they want to work and fight for the championship instead of having all these stars come in and just help them do it for them.
Right.
That's it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys, and thank you, Devin.
Thank you.